Student, myself Amit Kumar Gautam, and I welcome you all in this last part of the video of the chapter Atomic Structure. In this part, first I will discuss the topic quantum numbers. Look, solutions of the Schrödinger wave equation, accepted solutions of the Schrödinger wave equation, those are the eigenfunctions. They are solved in terms of the three quantum number n, l and m: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number m. The fourth quantum number, spin quantum number, is not the result of the Schrödinger wave equation. It is the result of the Pauli exclusion principle. Quantum numbers are the set of some integral numbers, some fixed values, and with the help of these numbers we will define all the properties of the electron. What is the location of electron, in which orbital it is present, what is the energy of electron, and so on. Okay, so first quantum number is the principal quantum number. Principal quantum number, small n, represent the shell or orbit in which we have the electron, and it also represents the energy of the electron. Higher the value of the n, electron present in the higher shell, and it also have the more energy, higher energy. The value of the n will be a non-zero positive whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. We have infinite shells in the surrounding of the nucleus. Okay, and each value of the n represent one shell. Like, look, total electron in any shell is always given by the 2n square. Like, total orbitals of any, if number of electron in any shell is the 2n square, then total number of orbitals in any shell is the n square. When n is equal to 1, this shell is called the K shell, and number of electron in the K shell is the 2. If n is equal to 2, this is called the L shell, and number of electron for the L shell is the 8. In the second shell we have the maximum 8 electron. Now the third shell, it is M. Then according to the 2n square, how many maximum possible electron is possible? How many possible electrons are there? 18. If n value is the 4, it is the n shell, and in this one we have the number of electron which is equal to 32 according to the formula 2n square. If we have the fifth shell is called the O shell, and how many electron we have maximum? We have the 50 maximum electron possible in the fifth shell. Now after the main quantum number or principal quantum number, we have the azimuthal quantum number. It is also called the angular quantum number. Some books also write it is the subsidiary quantum number. What it represent? It represent the subshell. A shell is made by the several subshells, and it represent how many subshells are present in any shell. Look, it represent the subshell in any shell. For each value of the n, the value of the L is from the 0 to n minus 1. If n is equal to 0, L value possible, one value is possible, that is the 0. If n is equal to 2, only two values of the L is possible, that is the 0, 1. Means second shell is made by the two subshells. One subshell is the 0 and one subshell is the 1. Similarly, if n value is the 3, total value of the L is the 3. And what are those? 0, 1, 2. 0 represent the S subshell, L is equal to 1 represent the P subshell, and L is equal to 2 represent the D subshell. Means in the third shell we have the three subshells S, P, D, or we can say third shell is made by the three subshell, S subshell, P subshell and D subshell. Then next fourth subshell if n value is the 4, total possible value of the L is also 4. What are those? L is equal to 0, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3. 0 represent the S subshell, L is equal to 1 represent the P subshell, L is equal to 2 represent the D subshell, and L is equal to 3 represent the S subshell. So we can say the fourth shell is made by the S subshell, P subshell, D subshell and F subshell. Okay, look, see, in the first shell only S subshell is present. In the second shell 0 and 1 means two subshells are present, that is the S and P. In the third shell 0, 1, 2. Okay, those three subshells are present, S, P, D. In the fourth subshell, value of the L is the 0, 1, 2, 3 means 4 subshells are present, S, P, D and F. Here S stand for the sharp, P stand for the principal, D stand for the diffuse and F is stand for the fundamental. Total value of the L is always equal to n, as I have explained you here. If n is equal to 1, only one value of the L is possible. If n is equal to 2, only two values of the L is possible. N is equal to 3, three values are possible. If n is equal to 4, four values are possible. Then number of orbitals in any subshell is given by the 2L plus 1. For the first, L is equal to 0. If we put the L is equal to 0, then what we have? L into 2, 0, 0 plus 1, 1. So how many orbital we have? One orbital. In the one orbital, how many electron are possible? 2. If we have the P subshell, for the P subshell, the value of the L is equal to 1. If we put that value of L is equal to 1 in this equation, how many orbitals we have? 2 plus 1, 3 orbitals, and 3 orbital we have the maximum electron 6. Then in the D subshell, for the D subshell, the value of the L is the 2. Then 2 into 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. 5 orbitals we have, and 5 orbital occupy maximum 10 electron. Next we have the F. For the F, the value of the L is the 3. Then 3 into 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 orbitals we have in the F subshell, and 7 orbital occupy the 14 electrons. So S subshell 2 electron, P subshell 6 electron, D subshell 10 electron, and F subshell 14 electron it can occupy. Mathematically, it can represent the orbital angular momentum. The orbital angular momentum has a formula under root L into L plus 1 h upon 2 pi, where this small l is the value of the azimuthal quantum number. Suppose for the s orbital, what we have to put here? 0. For the p orbital, what we have to put here? 1. For the d orbital 2, and for the f orbital it is 3. This h upon 2 pi is also written as h cross direct. So sometime what we do, it is simply under root L into L plus 1 h cross. H cross is the nothing but it is only the value h upon 2 pi direct. Orbital magnetic momentum, it also represent the orbital magnetic momentum. If we remove the h upon 2 pi from here, then that become the formula of the orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum is simply under root L into L plus 1. If h upon 2 pi is also given, it is the orbital angular momentum, but h upon 2 pi is not given, it is the orbital magnetic momentum. Then next, it also represent the fine spectrum. It also represent the fine spectrum. Look, if we have the n is equal to 1, in the n is equal to 1, only one subshell is possible. Then n is equal to 2, made by the two subshells. So if we see the, suppose if we have the main spectrum, a main line formed for the transition of the n is equal to 2 to n is equal to 1, and if we see this line in the HRS, then this line is split it into the two part. First part is the 0, second part is the 1. If we see the line from the n is equal to 3 to n is equal to 1, then this line divided into the three part, L is equal to 0, L is equal to 1, L is equal to 2, means what we have, this represent the number of the fine spectrum in the line. Okay, for the two lines in the fine spectrum, for the third shell 3 line in the fine spectrum, for the fourth 4 line in the fine spectrum we have. It also represent the 3D shape of the orbitals. The s orbital always spherical in shape, the p orbital dumbbell in shape, and f orbital is double dumbbelled in shape, and d orbital is double dumbbelled in shape. F orbital shape is quite complex and it is the 3D structure, and that is not in our syllabus. Now the next quantum number is called the magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number represent the orbitals in the different subshell. For each, look, represent the orbital in the subshell. It actually represent then the direction of the orbital in presence of the electrical field or magnetic field. In presence of the magnetic field, it is responsible for the Zeeman effect, and in presence of the electrical field, it is responsible for the Stark effect. Normally, all the orbitals in any subshell, they maintain their degeneracy. Means they all are having the same energy. But whenever the electrical field or magnetic field is applied along the z-axis, z-axis is the internuclear axis. Whenever the electrical field or magnetic field is applied on the z-axis, these orbital, they break their degeneracy. What is the meaning of the degeneracy? Tendency to not to be generated. They don't want to separate from the each other. They want to remain collectively. But when we apply the electrical field or magnetic field, this tendency is broken. Their degeneracy is broken, and they split it according to their direction of the angular momentum. Okay, so degeneracy of the orbitals breaks in presence of the electrical field and magnetic field. For each value of the L, the value of the M will be minus L to the plus L including the 0. So total value of the M represent the total orbitals present in any subshell. Total value of the M become 2L plus 1, and each value of the M represent one orbitals. Each value of the M represent one orbitals. Okay, it represent the component of the angular momentum associated with the electron. I told you these orbitals, they break their degeneracy, they become generated according to their component of the angular momentum. Now if the value of the L is the 0, then only one value of the M is possible, that is the 0. If value of the L is the 1, then 3 values of the M is the possible from the minus L to plus L. Minus 1, 0, plus 1. 3 values are possible, means in the L is equal to, means this is stand for S orbital, this is stand for P orbital, D subshell and F subshell. S subshell, P subshell, D subshell and F subshell. Okay, in the P subshell we have the 3 orbital. One orbital is the minus 1, second orbital is the 0, and third orbital is the plus 1. And these 3 orbital are the Px, Py and Pz. These three p orbital combinedly give one p subshell. Similarly, if value of the L is equal to 2, that represent the d subshell. For the d subshell, the value of the L is the 2. Then value of the M become -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. Total 5 values are possible. Means in the d subshell we have the 5 orbitals. Okay, each value of the M represent one orbitals. Then if we have the L is equal to 3, L is equal to 3 always represent the F subshell. In the F subshell, how many orbital are possible? 7 orbital are possible. -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2 and +3. Each value of the M represent one orbitals. Look, p orbital, first s orbital. S orbital we know it is the spherical in shape, no directional property. Okay, that p orbital, it is directional in nature. The value of the psi depend upon the radius and any of the axis. If value of the psi depend upon the radius and x axis, then that is called the px orbital. Then py orbital, then pz orbital. 3 orbitals are possible. For the pz orbital, the value of the M is always fixed. If orbital is given as pz, the value of the M is the 0. If for the px orbital, if we choose the value of the M -1, then for the py orbital we have to choose the value +1. But if in any case for the px orbital we have taken the +1, then for the py orbital we have to take the -1. These are the fixed values. Value of the M always equal to 0, but value of the px and py, they are interconnected, they are interchangeable. If px is taken as -1, then py is taken as +1. If px is taken as +1, then py is taken as -1. These are the fixed value. And shape of the p orbital is dumbbell. Now d orbitals, 5 d orbitals we have. Shape is the double dumbbell except the dz square. Dz square is the orbital which is only present on the z axis. It only have the component of the z. Okay, so value of the M is fixed for it. Its value for the M is always 0. Then the other two orbital which also have at least one component of the z, like dyz and dxz, they also have one component of the z, then they must be near to the 0. Then their value of the magnetic contour number become also fixed. If dzx is taken as -1, then dyz is taken as +1. But if dzx is taken as +1, then dyz is taken as -1. These are interchangeable with each other. dxz, dzx and dyz are interchangeable with each other. Then other two orbital in which we don't have any component of the z, they are the extreme one. If dx square minus y square is taken as -1, then dxy is taken as +2. If it is taken as -2, then dxy is taken as +1. But if in any case dx square minus y square is taken as +2, then in that case dxy is taken as -2. Means these two values are interchangeable with each other. Dx square minus y square and dxy, they are interchangeable with each other. And dzx and dyz, they are also interchangeable with each other. But value of the dz square is fixed. Suppose if in any question they have given sigma 3 2 0, this is the representation of the sigma n l m. Third shell, d subshell, L is equal to 2. L is equal to 2 is the d subshell. In the d subshell, the value of the magnetic contour number is the 0. Which orbital is that? It is the dz square orbital, for which the value of the z is equal to 0. So this value sigma 3, 2, 0, this represent the orbital, that is the 3z square. Okay, now among these one, dz square and dx square minus y square are the only orbital, those are purely present on the axial, on the axis. Then dx square minus y square and dz square are called the axial orbital, they are only present along the axis. Okay, these are called the easy. Easy means equally generated. But other orbitals like dxy, dyz and dzx, these are present in between the axis, and these orbitals are called the interaxial orbital, T2g. T2g means triply generated orbitals. Now we see the spectrum. In the first one, black line indicate the main lines, blue line indicate the fine spectrum under HRS, and red line indicate the splitting of the orbital in presence of the Zeeman effect or the Stark effect, that is the magnetic quantum number m. If value of the n is equal to 1, if n is equal to 1, then L is also equal to 0. Only one value is possible. If L is equal to 0, then m is equal to also 0. Means in the first shell we only have the one s subshell, and s subshell is made by the only one orbital, that is the s orbital. But in the second shell is made by the two subshell. One is the s subshell, one is the p subshell. If value of the L is equal to 0, value of the m is also equal to 0. In the s subshell we have only one orbital, that is the s orbital. But in the line of L is equal to 1, this p subshell is actually made by the three orbitals. But when we apply the electrical field and magnetic field, this line of the L is equal to 1. Further split it into the three parts, that is the one line is the -1, another line is the 0, and next line is the +1. This splitting of the L is equal to 1 further part, in the further part, that is called the break in the degeneracy. Now if we have the line of the n is equal to 3, in the third shell we have the s subshell also, p subshell also, and d subshell also. In the s subshell only s orbital is present. In the p subshell three orbitals are present, -1, 0 and +1, like I have explained you here. But now the line of the L is equal to 2, corresponding to the L is equal to 2, in presence of electrical field and magnetic field, it is split into the 5 part. If further split it into the 5 part, one line for the -2, one line for the -1, one line for the 0, and one line for the +1, and one line for the +2. Okay, means shells are formed by the subshell. In the shell we have the subshell, and subshell are further formed by the combination of the different orbitals. Next quantum number is the spin quantum number. An electron in an orbital, it rotates on its own axis, it is spin around its own axis, and whenever a charged particle spin around its own axis, it also carries some magnetic properties. Two types of spin are possible. One may be the clockwise and one may be the anti-clockwise. For each kind of the spin we decide some quantum number. Suppose if spin of the electron is like anti-clockwise, that is represented by the +12 up spin motion, and if motion of the electron like anti-clockwise, that is represented by the -12, that is a down spin. Look, an electron spin about its own axis behave like a small magnet. Two types of spins are possible, and due to this motion we have some angular momentum, and that angular momentum is called spin angular momentum, and this spin angular momentum can be calculated by the formula √s into s plus 1 outside the capital bracket h upon 2 pi, where this s is the n by 2. This capital S is the, it is not the spin quantum number, this capital S is something else. This capital S is the n by 2, where n is the number of the unpaired electron, as I have told you last time, if we remove the h upon 2 pi from the angular momentum, then that only remains the magnetic momentum. So spin magnetic momentum of the electron is calculated by the under root s into s plus 1. Now these are the things those generally we use in the single electron system, but the same rule, the same Schrodinger wave equation cannot be applied for the multi-electron system. How we arrange the electron in a multi-electron system, these rules not decided by the Schrodinger wave equation, because Schrodinger wave equation is only applicable for a single electron system. So to decide the electronic configuration, electronic arrangement of the multi-electron system, we have some different rules. We have some more rules. These rules decide the electronic configuration, electronic arrangement in a multi-electron system. The first rule is called the Aufbau principle. This Aufbau is a German word and its meaning to build up, to construct something. According to this rule, the electron always enter in the different subshell. Electron always enter in the different subshell in the increasing order of their energy. In the increasing order of their energy, and energy of the electron is decided by the n plus L value. N, small n, principal quantum number, L, spin quantum number, azimuthal quantum number. So energy of the electron decided by the n plus L value. The subshell which has the minimum value of the n plus L, electron always enter in that subshell. But suppose if two subshells has the same value of the n plus L, two subshell has the same value of n plus L, in that case electron enter in that subshell which has the minimum value of the n. Look, electron enter in the different subshell according to the increasing order of the energy, and energy is decided by the n plus L value. For the same value of n plus L, electron enter in that subshell which has the low value of the n. Look how we do. In the first shell we have only 1s. In the second shell 1s, 2p, 2s and 2p. In the third shell we have 3s, 3p, 3d. In the fourth shell we have the 4f, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. In the fifth shell 5s, 5p, 5d, 5s, 5g, etc. Similarly in the sixth and in the seventh we have. Okay, we have to decide the n plus L value. Suppose I have one electron and several choices are there. Then what I do? I calculate the n plus L value. First electron in that subshell which has the minimum value of the n plus L. Look, you see 1s, value of the n is the 0, value of the L is equal to 0, n plus L become the 1. So first electron enter in the 1s, electronic configuration become 1s1. Second electron can also enter in that subshell because 1s has the 1 orbital. In the 1 orbital we have the 2 electron. So second electron will also enter in the 1s. Now it is in the case of the helium where 2 electrons are there. Electronic configuration become the 1s2. When we have the third electron, now 1s is already fulfilled. When the third electron want to enter in the different subshell, 1s is already fulfilled. Now third electron has the choice, either it should be added to the 2s or 2p. Then you see for the 2s the value of the n plus L is 2, and for the 2p value of the n plus L is the 3. So electron will enter in the 2s where it has the minimum value of the n plus L. So third electron enter in the 2s, that become the lithium 1s2, 2s1. Fourth electron also enter in the 2s, that become 1s2, 2s2. Then fifth electron, now 2s is complete, fifth electron has the choice 2p and 3s. For the 2p, n plus L value is the 3, And for the 3s, n plus l value is also 3. Now we have a tie up. Both have the same value of the n plus l. In such case, electron enter in that shell which has the minimum value of the n. So 2p has the minimum value of the n. So first the next 6 electron will enter in the 2p, then 11th electron enter in the 3s, then 13th electron enter in the 3p, then 4s, then 3d. Okay, so this is how we can fulfill the electronic configuration of the different element, and you need to remember up to the 30. We have the two exceptional there. One is the chromium. The last electronic configuration of the chromium is the 3d5 4s1. 3d5 4s1, not 3d4 4s2. Okay, similarly copper 29. The last electronic configuration is the 3d10 4s1, not the 4s2 3d9. These are the two exceptions we have up to the atomic number 30. You need to remember it. Okay, then Hund's rule of the maximum multiplicity. According to this rule, the which electronic configuration, which arrangement of the electron is stable, which provide the maximum multiplicity. The state of the maximum multiplicity is the most stable state. According to this rule, what we have to do, pairing of the electron is not allowed until the every orbital has at least one electron with the same spin. This is the result of the Hund's rule of the maximum multiplicity. Let's see. In the unexcited state, the electronic configuration with the maximum multiplicity is most stable in nature. That is, pairing of electron is not possible until each orbital occupy one electron with the same spin. To explain this one, I took the example of the nitrogen. Nitrogen configuration is the 1s2 2s2. Okay, multiplicity, how we can calculate multiplicity? Multiplicity is the 2 into sum of the spin quantum number plus 1. 2 into sum of the spin quantum number plus 1. This is the formula to calculate the multiplicity. The electronic configuration, electronic arrangement which provide the maximum multiplicity has to be more stable in nature. Now see, n is equal to 7. Electronic configuration 1s2 2s2 2p3. Okay, in the 2p, we have the 3 electron. What are the possibility? First electron in the first orbital, second electron in the same orbital, and third electron in a different orbital. Now we calculate the multiplicity. Plus half, sum of the spin quantum, plus half minus half 0. Okay, plus half plus minus half plus half. Plus half minus half cancel out each other. So what we have, plus half multiplied by 2, 1, 1 plus 1, multiplicity is the 2. Now in the next arrangement, each electron occupy the different orbital, but one electron has a different spin. Now we calculate the multiplicity. Half plus half minus half, on the addition they cancel out each other, 0. Then remaining is the plus half into 2, 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So multiplicity is the 2. Again the multiplicity is the 2. Both have the same multiplicity. But if we fill the electron in such a way, third case, each orbital has a one electron and spin of the electron is the same, then we calculate the multiplicity. Plus half 1, 1 plus half 3 by 2, 3 by 2 into the 2, 3 plus 1 4, multiplicity is 4. Then this electronic configuration provide the maximum multiplicity. So this electronic configuration has to be the most stable. You also know it is very famous, and it is very popular. Singlet carbene and the triplet carbene. Which carbene is stable? Look, in the singlet carbene, electron are paired, but in the triplet carbene electron are unpaired. In the singlet carbene electron are paired, they have the opposite spin, and in the triplet carbene both have the same spin. We calculate the multiplicity here. Half plus half plus half 1, 1 plus half 1, 1 into 2, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So multiplicity of the triplet carbene is the 3. Now we calculate the multiplicity of the singlet carbene. Plus half minus half 0, 0 into 2, 0, 0 plus 1, 1. So multiplicity is the 1. And you already know this thing in the organic chemistry. Everyone say that triplet carbene is the more stable than the singlet. Why it is so? Because triplet carbene, why the name is the triplet? Triplet is the name is given because its multiplicity is the 3. And why the name is given singlet? Singlet means 1. What is 1? What is triple? Why it is called the triplet? Why it is called the 3? It started with the 3 triplet carbene. And what it is started from the singlet carbene? Single. What is 1? So it is the multiplicity. These are the indication of the multiplicity. Triplet carbene has the 3 multiplicity. Singlet carbene has the 1 multiplicity. And triplet carbene is more stable than the singlet carbene because of maximum multiplicity. Now next we have the Pauli exclusion principle. According to the Pauli's exclusion principle, it is impossible to have all the 4 quantum number identical for the 2 electron in any atom. If suppose 3 quantum number are the same, then 4th quantum number has to be the different. All the 4 quantum number provide the address of the electron in any atom. Like it is the same case as we have in the day to day. Means two person in this world cannot have the exactly same address. If their address is the same, their flat number is the same, then at least they have the different name. So this rule is also applicable for the atoms and electron. No 2 electron in the same atom in the same family can have all the complete address as identical. They must have some difference from the 1 electron from the another electron. So Pauli's exclusion principle is very simple. No 2 electron in the same atom can have all the 4 quantum number identical. Next we have the radial node or spherical node. Radial node or spherical node is given by the formula n minus L minus 1. N is the principal quantum number, L is the azimuthal quantum number. Between the 1s and 2s, we have one space where the probability of the finding electron is exactly 0. That space is called the node. The point where the probability of the finding electron is 0, that is called the node. And the point where the probability of the finding electron is maximum, that is called the antinode. Okay, similarly we have the angular node or the nodal plane. Suppose I have the px orbital. Px orbital, look, this is y and this is z. This plane is the yz plane. Then px orbital, half lobe upper and half lobe lower. So in this plane, yz plane, we don't have any probability, any chance of the finding electron. Okay, so that 2D space, that 2D plane is called the nodal plane. Okay, so angular node or the nodal plane is given by simply L. Then if we want to calculate the total node, then what we have to do? Radial node plus angular node n minus L minus 1 plus L. That provide the total node n minus 1. Then we need to remember that half-filled electronic configuration and full-filled electronic configuration always more stable. It is due to the maximum exchange energy. It is due to the maximum exchange energy and more symmetrical geometry, more symmetrical shape. Half-filled and fulfilled are always more stable due to the maximum exchange energy and symmetrical condition. Now in the question number 24, it is given that principal quantum number is related to the size of the orbital, spin angular momentum, orbital angular momentum, or orbital arrangement in the 3D space. So second cannot be the possible. Spin angular momentum is given by the spin quantum number. Next one, orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum is given by the azimuthal quantum number. Then orbital arrangement, how these orbitals are arranged in the space, which is in the x direction, which is in the y direction, which is in the z direction, that is given by the magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number represent the direction of the orbital in the 3D space. Then now you think about the first, size of the orbital. Principal quantum number represent the size of the shell, and shell is made by the orbitals. If size of the shell is the larger, bigger, shell is the bigger, then obviously it is made by the orbital, and orbital has to be bigger in shape. So correct answer of this question is the option number 1. Now question number 25, which electronic label would allow to absorb the photon but not emit? Means we have to find out one label, one particular label that can absorb the energy but cannot release the energy. Let's see. 3s. If electron from the 3s move to the 4s, it absorbs the energy. It can absorb the energy. When electron from the 3s come to the 2s, it releases the energy. Means for this the condition is not valid. Then 2p. 2p can absorb the energy and can come into the 3p. So it can absorb, and 2p electron can come into the 1s, then it can also release the energy. So it is also not possible. Then 2s. If 2s electron absorb the energy, it come into the 3s, it absorb the energy. If 2s electron come to the 1s, then it can also release the energy. So this condition is not possible. Now you think about the 1s. 1s electron when absorb the energy, it come to the 2s, 3s, 4s and anything else, but it cannot release the energy because we don't have any more lower energy level. When electron make the transition from the higher shell to lower shell, then it can only release the energy. But first shell is the minimum, it is the lowest shell. There is no other lowest shell is possible. So it can only absorb the energy, it cannot release the energy. So correct answer of this question is the option number 4. Now question number 26, 27, 28 and 29 are depend upon the quantum number. We have to find out the last quantum number. Last in the question number 26, we have to find out the quantum number for the last electron of zinc. Zinc electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2 and 3d10. Last electron enter in the 3d10. So n is the 3. Last electron is present in the third shell, 3. Then L, okay, you must remember this. For S, azimuthal quantum number 0, for P, azimuthal quantum number 1, and for D it is 2, and for the F it is 3. So electron present in the D. If electron present in the D, then it is 2. Then what is the value of the M? D subshell is made by the 5 orbitals, and we have to find out the 10th electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have to find out the 10th electron. 10th electron is present. First one is the -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. These are the possible value of the magnetic quantum number, but we have to check the last electron. Last electron 10th. 10th electron is present in the M is equal to +2. 10th electron is present in the m is equal to +2. Now you check the spin. It is the up spin or it is the down spin. If it is the up spin, it is the +12, and if it is the down, it is -12. So it is down spin, so spin counter number is the -2. Then we have last electron of the chlorine. We have to find out the last electron of the chlorine. Chlorine electronic configuration: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. Last electron is present in the 3p5. So last electron in the third shell, so value of the n is equal to 3. Value of L for the p subshell, the value of the L is the 1. Then in the p subshell we have the 3 orbital, -1, 0 and +1, and we have to find out the fifth electron. Electron number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So electron number 5 enter in the orbital where the value of the m is equal to 0. So value of the m for this is the 0, and it is up spin or lower spin? It is down spin. So value of the s is the -2. Then second last electron of the sodium. First I check the electronic configuration: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Last electron is the 3s1, but we have to find out the electron which is just previous to the last, that is the 2s6. We have to find out the quantum number for the electron 2s6. So for the 2s6, the value of the n is the 2. Electron is present in the p subshell. For the p subshell, the value of the L is the 1. In the p subshell we have the 3 orbital, -1, 0 and +1, and we have to check the sixth electron. Electron number 1, electron number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 electron is present in the m is equal to +1. So value of the m is equal to +1. And now we have to check the spin. What is the spin of this electron? Spin is the plus upside or downside. Since this 6 electron has the spin down, so that's why the value of the s is the, here it is -12, here it is -12. Now next question, outermost electron of the Fe+2. Okay, what is the electronic configuration of the iron? Electronic configuration of the iron is the argon 4s2, argon 4s2, 3d6. But this is the electronic configuration of the iron atom. We have to find out the electronic configuration of the Fe+2. Means we have to remove the 2 electrons. Now we have two options. We can remove the 2 electron from the s also, and we can remove the 2 electron from the d also. Many students, they do the mistake. What they do? They remove the electron from the d. They remove the electron from the d. What we have to do to remove the electron? Removal of electron, outer shell. Removal of electron always occurs from the outer shell, outer orbital. Outer orbital is not the 3d, outer orbital is the 4s. So whenever we want to remove the electron, we have to remove the electron from the 4s, not from the 3d. So what we have, if we remove the electron from the 2 electron from the 4s, now iron will have the configuration 3d6. Iron has the configuration 3d6. So value of the n, electron is present in the third shell. Value of the L, for the d orbital, the value of the L is the 2. Then what are the possible value of the m? 5 orbitals are possible. -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. And we are looking for the 6th electron. Let's see where the 6th electron is. 1, 2nd electron, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. 6 electron present in the m is equal to -2. So value of the m become -2. And now you check about the spin. It is the up spin or down spin. Since it is the down spin, so value of the spin counter number is the minus half. Now question number 30. The orbital angular momentum of an electron in the 2s orbital. Okay, we know orbital angular momentum is the s into s plus 1. Sorry, that is the spin I said. Orbital angular momentum is the L into L plus 1 h upon 2 pi. This is the orbital angular momentum. Then for the s orbital, the value of the azimuthal counter number is the 0. So what we have? Under root 0. Okay, 0 into 1. 0 into 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 into 0. 0 under root 0 h upon 2 pi. What is that? That is also equal to 0. So correct answer of this question is the option number 2nd. Now the question number 31. Which of the following is the correct representation of the graph psi square versus r for the 3s orbital? Okay, for 3s orbital, how many radial node we have? Radial node is equal to n minus l minus 1. 3 minus l, 0 minus 1. Okay, we require the 2 radial node. 2 radial node means one node we have between the 1s and 2s, and second node we have between the 2s and 3s. And we know that psi is the amplitude. Psi is the amplitude of the electron wave function. Psi can be the negative, psi can be the positive, amplitude can be the negative, and amplitude can be the positive. But in the option number 1, psi square is given as negative as well as positive. Look, square of the negative is always a positive number. So psi square has to be the always positive. In the option number 1, it is not given. In the option number 1, it may be the graph of the psi versus r, because psi is the amplitude. It can be positive, it can be negative, but it is not the graph of the psi square versus r, because psi square has to be the positive. So that's why the option number 1 is not the correct. Now you see this one, second option. This is the graph of the, look, when we start the graph from the lower to higher, always the graph those start from the lower to higher, those are the graph of the P. Okay, in this one, how many node we have? One node only, because node is the point where the probability of the electron finding is 0, means psi square value has to be the 0. How many times this psi square become the 0? Only one time. So it is the only one node, and one node is present between the 2p and 3p. So it is the graph of the 3p. Now this one, the graph of the s orbital always start from the higher to lower, higher to lower, higher to lower. But how many nodes are there? Nodes means where the point where the value of the psi square is equal to 0. In this graph, one time the value of the psi square become the 0. So it is the graph of the 2s. Between the 1s and between the 2s, we have only one value of the psi is equal to 0. So this is also not the answer. Now you check the option number 4. How many times the psi become the 0? One time. Between the 1s and 2s we have a node, and between the 2s and 3s we also have a node. So in this graph start from the higher to lower, which is ideal for the s. And how many node we have? We have the 2 node which we required. So correct answer of this question is the option number 4. Then in the question number 32, identify the orbital diagram in which the Avvahu rule is the violated. According to the Avvahu principle, the electron must be entered in the shell which has the less energy given by the n plus l. So in this option number 1, Avvahu rule is not violated because electron enter in the 2p after the completion of the 2s. But here we have the violation of the Hund's rule of the maximum multiplicity, because they started the pairing of the electron without having a singly occupied electron with the same spin in all the orbital. So in the first option we have the violation of the Hund's rule. Now you see in the second option, without filling the 2 electron in the 2s, electron enter in the 2p, which is not valid according to the Abahu principle. According to the Abahu principle, first we have to add the electron in the 2s. After the filling, after the completion of the 2s subshell, we can fill the electron in the 2p subshell. So in the second option we have the violation of the Abahu principle, which is the correct answer. Now we'll see the question number third, option number third. Option number third is correct. No violation at all. Okay, no principle is violated in this option. And option number 4 is also correct. No violation is there. But they require the answer, the option where the Abahu rule is violated. Abahu rule is violated in the option number 2. Now question number 33, a p orbital has the spherical node and the angular node. Look, spherical node or radial node n minus l minus 1. For the 3p, n value 3, l value 1, minus 1. So how many node we have? We have one radial node or one spherical node. So it has the one spherical node. And how many angular node? Angular node is always equal to the L. And what is the value of the L? Value of the L is always 1 for the 2p subshell. Okay, so angular node is also 1. So answer is the one spherical node and one angular node. Question number 34, find out the value of the NLM for the 2pz orbital. Look, you see 3pz orbital. The value of the n is the 3. The value of the n is the 3. Electron is present in the third shell. Okay, now which subshell? P subshell we have, because pz orbital is only present in the p subshell. And for the p subshell, what is the azimuthal quantum number? 1. Then you must be remember this one. In my last slide I have told you that always for the magnetic quantum number become the 0 for the pz orbital. Px and py, they are interchangeable. -1 for the px, then +1 for the py, or +1 for the px, then -1 for the py. These px and py, -1 and +1 are the interchangeable, but for the pz orbital the value of the magnetic quantum number is always taken as 0. So value of the m is always 0 for it. Then question number 35, which of the following set of the quantum number is not possible? Look, if n is equal to 2, then value of the L 0, 1, it is correct. If value of the L is equal to 1, then possible value of the m will be -1, 0, +1. So -1 is there, it is also correct. And for each orbital we have the 2 possible value of the s, that is also correct. Now third shell. In the third shell, value of the n 0, 1, 2, it is correct. If value of the L is the 2, then possible values of the m is the -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. What is given here? -3, which is not the possible. +half is the can be the possible. Then second shell. In the second shell, value of the L 0, 1, 0 is given, it is correct. If value of the L is the 0, then value of m is also equal to 0, that is also correct. And electron may have the +half spin, so this total correct. Then check the fourth option. If value of the n is equal to 3, possible value of the L is the 0, 1, 2. 2 is given here, it is correct. If value of the m is the 2, then values of the L, possible values of the L is the -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. And what is given here? -2, it is also correct. If m is the -2, then it may have the 2 electron, 1 electron of the -half, 1 electron of the +half. So this value is also possible. But which option is not possible? That is the option number 2. This combination of the quantum numbers is not the possible. Okay, so that is all from my side in this chapter, atomic structure. I am sure that you have enjoyed this chapter and you have learned a lot from this chapter. That's all from my side. Again, I wish you very best of luck for your examination. Thank you and goodbye.